My name is Oksana Day. I am HR consultant at FlexHR, and we work at the intersection of people analytics, organizational strategy, and compliance. And we help businesses turn workforce data into actionable insight to drive growth, to limit and reduce risk, and to, of course, retain top talent. I personally have been in HR for a bit over a decade, and I am so thrilled to find my niche. It is my biggest passion, and I hope to keep doing it for a very, very long time.
Diversified Game. Learn how to start, run, and sustain your business.
Hey, it's Kellen, and today on Diversified Game, I have Oksana Day. And what a name. That sounds like she could be in the movies or something. So she definitely, if she has to write a book at least, right? But she's going to give us the game on HR and how, even you as a small business, yes, even as a small business, you can get some HR help. It's something I tell my clients often. So those of you who are listening, I hope you listen, because we don't have to do everything for you. And she focuses just on this. So welcome to the chat, Miss Day. How are you doing?
Hi, Kellen. I'm great. How are you? Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for coming on. And you did a great interview. I was telling you before we got started a few weeks ago. If we can, and hopefully we remember, we'll pin it. If not, just Google her name. She'll pop up. If the hairstyle changes or not, she can flip me. She can flip it. So HR, something that we all need, but a lot of people think you have to go to school to go to HR. You have to have, a friend to get you in. How did you get started in HR?
I absolutely love this question. And, the answer is very simple. I was very nosy and I wanted to know everything about everything. And HR is a great way to get into that. But yeah, no, with all seriousness, I started up as a cashier at a large retail store chain here in Texas, where I'm located. And it was about 6 months of hard work as a cashier. And, I started looking for other opportunities because it was super hard to stand on your feet in a very busy store. And I started looking into different departments. And, I came to one of my store leaders and I asked that question: are there any departments that are looking for help right now? And instead of counting down the departments, he asked me the most brilliant question. He asked, well, what is it that you want to do? And I remember that question still. It's been 10 years and I still remember. And I said, well, what I would like to do is to get insight into business operations. And he's like, you know what? We have HR admin assistant opening up soon because our current one is going on maternity leave. You can apply if you want. And I did. And it became my career and I absolutely love it.
Wow. So some one job to, another. What was it about HR? Was it that you just could hire and you knew who was going to get fired first? And, what was it about HR that you think, that was like, oh, this fits so well?
Thank you for perpetuating stereotype of HR people. HR is just so much more than about hiring and firing. I know I hear this all the time when I go visit clients on site or something like that, and they all get nervous because HR is coming on site. That means that somebody's getting fired. And I detest that. I don't like that stereotype. My goal has become to make HR into something more than just hiring and firing, right? HR is a strategic business partner, and it has to be. What I like about HR is that we truly have insight into what it's like to have business, to lead people, and to be an employee, right? So we are the liaison between the company and the employees. We get to help both sides, care for both sides, and offer insight to each side, which is kind of funny. But that's what I love. I get to see both sides. I get to help both sides.
You've tried it your way, but you're still in debt. Or maybe you're doing okay, but want to invest smarter, grow faster. 𝐿ioNaireX.ai gives you real step-by-step strategies to ditch debt or stack wealth. Stop dreaming and start planning. Visit 𝐿ioNaireX.ai today. I want you to be the next millionaire next door.
Okay, okay. And this is for my frustrations when doing business. I'm a full-time consultant, and we're looking, we do the hiring and firing for depending on the business. But when you're talking to entrepreneurs, especially about small business people, there's never enough time in the day to do everything. And then strategically putting the right people in place is something that you have to know their business, and you have to know a little something about the person that you're interviewing to onboard them. Is there any worksheet? Is there any course hurdles maybe? Do you make them go get cheesecake like we used to see back in the day on MTV? Like, how do you get all that prepared, and how long does that take? Because people like Dave Ramsey say, hey, I have at least 2 or 3 interview process before we bring anybody on, depending on the position. What's your, take and opinion, and what do you use?
Yeah, good question. It is very hard to see what a person is like from an interview, right? There are people who are very good at interviewing and not always bringing that into the workplace. And there are also those that they get nervous, they don't know how to interview, but they can be fantastic individual contributors. It does take a couple of rounds of interviews with different people, as well as some pre-employment testing, to have a better picture. I can't say that it's completely possible to see exactly what the person is going to be like in the workplace through the interview process, right? So yes, there is that initial phone screen between HR and the person, just to kind of get a feel. How interested are they? How much time they spend researching about the company? Because let's face it, when you are out of a job and you're looking for something and you need to keep your family fed, sometimes you apply just for about anything. And we do see that a lot. One of my least favorite answers when I say, hey, so do you know anything about this company? And they're like, yeah, no, what is it for? That's
They came to see.
that's usually, yeah. And then there is that first interview between the candidate and the hiring manager, right? That's when the hiring manager can gauge, can they do the job, right? It doesn't have to be long. It's a 30, 45 minute, no more than that. And then the final step that I recommend to my clients is that group interview between this candidate and a couple of people from the company, right? This is where it doesn't have to be super structured. This is where we kind of gauge, like, we tell about the culture, we see how they act in a group setting, maybe do a walkthrough if they are on site, if they're not remote, do a little walkthrough, have them meet the people, see the interactions. So that's more of a, as they say, culture fit, right? In a team fit. So yes, I recommend a couple of rounds, but no more than 3, because you gotta snatch talent quick these days. You can't drag it for months, because most likely somebody else will snatch them first.
If they're good, they stay around too long, there may be something about that person, even if they look great on paper. Like, wait, this person is a rocket scientist and a this and a that. Why has no one, worked with them? Or have they worked with everybody and burn all bridges? What?
Sometimes people just specifically focused on that one company. I've seen it many times when they're like, hey, I've been trying to get in here for years. I want to work with this organization. I've heard great things. I have friends who work here. I want to retire from here. And they just not considering any other. They're not even applying for any other positions. So that could be possible. And sometimes those people will go through multiple rounds, a long time, as long as it lands them that dream job.
Gotcha. Well, you guys keep on trying and can they send their resumes to you directly? Does it ever work like that where you collect resumes and then have, of course with AI especially, put it in the cloud and then it will ding once something comes? Can people contact you directly for that, or is it?
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. I love it when people put in an effort to see who is the hiring manager, who is the HR, what is the company about. I love it when they contact me on LinkedIn. That means that they put in an effort learning about the organization. And, I usually contact those right away, and they would probably be my front runners, depending, of course, on how that initial phone screen interview goes. But yeah, if you really want the job, put in an effort, show that you want it, show that you are standing out, right?
Okay. And now I'm going, since you said that, oh, I get excited because let's say somebody like me who has a couple of businesses, but we're going into new things, especially with AI, and on our LinkedIn, you'll see it, 'cause I'm adding you shortly. You will see like AI manager, or AI consultant. And more people will be looking for these things. They don't even know that they need it. Is it ever possible for us entrepreneurs who say, look, we can do a hybrid, or we can come in and bring our team or just ourselves, send our resume to you. So if anything hits, again, it will ding and it'll make it easier. I just want to make sure before I send my resume, you guys, I'm not too good. I will send my resume quickly, but does it work like that? Because I know so many entrepreneurs who are building apps and websites and different things, crypto tumbler wallets, and companies don't know these things even exist or how to use them. Could we all send our resume to you to make your job easier?
That's interesting that you brought that up. I have noticed in the past couple of years since the rapid rise of AI, a lot of organizations, a lot of people actually trying to do without it. They think that if they don't use it, then AI is not a thing, right? But let's face it. If you're not on board by now, you'll be left behind because all of us folks who utilize AI in our daily operations and strategic plans, we are already ahead. And I'm sorry, but you're going to be left behind. Just because you don't accept AI does not make it a reality, right? You agree with me?
Yeah.
Yeah. So a lot of the times, if you approach with that straight up, hey, I'm an AI consultant, if it's a more conservative HR or conservative business owner, they may just brush it under the rug.
Are you a successful entrepreneur or one in training? You've got the vision, but do you have the right partner to build your brand, your team, and your future online and off? At CPRfirm.com, we offer expert consulting, financial guidance, and life coaching because we believe in doing life with our clients. After all, what is it for a man to gain the world and lose his soul? Founded by Kellen Coleman, we help our clients not only succeed, but plan to retire rich. Your business deserves the best. Start building your legacy today at CPRfirm.com.
So perhaps I would still reach out. I would still approach that person or a couple of people from the company directly, but maybe lead with a different message. Maybe you just need to snag that meeting with that person and then start pitching, like show how you can help them and then pull out that tool out of your pocket. Yeah, you'll be surprised how many people out there just do not want to have anything to do with AI. They either don't trust it or they're afraid that if they let AI in their company, it will take their job. So that's the reality right now.
Okay. And I'm from California. I live here in South Florida, but I've seen people even in California, with the big billboards that everything's AI, say, oh, it's bad for the environment and this and that. But I say, but could it also be good for the environment? Because it can tell us how to maybe change some things faster. Because we know that, and you know this more than most because you deal with so many people, not everybody is as smart as they think they are. The Dunning-Kruger effect is a real thing. People think because they can pronounce a word that they know, or a term that they know. I mean, there's a lot of people, especially in this country, that are full of themselves because they watch too much TV or so much TV. As an HR professional, how do you deal with that? Because you saying you don't want to use AI, it won't go away. We will just replace you. I say we because AI is my friend, mi amigo, mi amiga, actually, because AI is a woman. It can do two things at once.
Is it? Okay, I didn't know that. I love it.
But how do you get, people, how do you weed people out, even business wise, where you're like, well, if you don't use AI, we're not going to have much business because by 2028, I doubt you'll be in business. How do you, get people's attention and shake them up?
You mean within the organization, or are we talking like business owners?
All of it. You run free. However that question and comment hits you, as the business people, even as the people applying who, like, no, you're not there yet. Like, let's just focus on the AI real quick. Are you able to wake people up? Maybe you're not.
Oh man, so this is such a huge question. I see both sides, both like radical sides sometimes. One of the biggest things that comes up in interviewing and all that is that AI writes resumes and cover letters, and sometimes people, or I say sometimes, most of the time, people don't even bother putting in their human component in, right? AI is great, but without human, it's just, it's not going to do anything good. So if anything, my message is for people who may be looking for jobs out there. We know when it's written by AI. I mean, I don't even need to use tools sometimes, like the AI detector and stuff like that. Sometimes you see that it was written by ChatGPT. People throw in job description into ChatGPT and say, hey, write a cover letter. And they all look alike. They're all the same. And it's just, it's funny. It's funny sometimes. But yeah, that's not going to help you get that interview. And then there's that other side, right, who absolutely refuse AI usage in their daily work. If that happens, we try to have some kind of training every now and then, showcasing how AI can really help do your job better, how it can help with brainstorming. We just showcase that to people, right? And those that are real resistant to change, and this is one of the biggest changes right now, is bringing that AI. If you're really resistant, everybody else on your team is using it, but you just refuse, guess what? We're probably going to have to put it in your performance evaluation because you're not following best ways to do your job. So, do you know what I'm saying?
I do. And I have a follow-up because I want to know, as an HR professional, where, if you've been doing it for a decade, I've been using AI for about 8 years. I wrote my oldest, her first children's book was with AI. It was a crossword puzzle book. It's on Amazon. You guys know the London and Sydney story, from this podcast. But resumes and even papers, because I've consulted professors, used to look so bad sometimes. And now everybody, like you said, it looks perfect, minus the dash that people are too lazy. Take the dang dash out. You don't write.
Yeah.
Is it not better that people want it to be perfect? Even though they, because those people probably were going to have somebody do it themselves anyway, or they were going to give a bad resume and a bad cover letter. Is it not better that they give a perfect resume using AI, and then you can really see if they can do whatever the work is? Because an electrician, we don't really care what his resume looks like. We just want to make sure he can fix it, right? My coders, I really don't care. Can you hack or break into what I need you to break into when I need you? From your standpoint, is it better now that they can have perfect language minus the dash? Or was it better when, they didn't know how to conjugate a verb or put together a sentence?
No, it is better. It is better. Yes, absolutely. Use it to make your resume look good, but don't use AI as the only tool because that's just lazy. Come on, you can't just say, hey, here are my qualifications or here's the job description, write a resume to fit this job description. I mean, honestly, you're going to show up for work even if you do get picked. You get hired, you show up for work for this big job that hired you because you had a great resume, great cover letter, you answered all of the interview questions the way AI told you, and then you show up for work and in the first week everybody finds out that you can't speak, you can't write, you can't conjugate words, right? So yes, absolutely use AI, but smart. Learn how to prompt engineer, learn how to put in correct prompts, right? Remove those super fluffy words that are just dead giveaway. Yeah, it's one of those that if you see that it was not even touched by a human, does it show you that this person doesn't really know how to utilize AI properly? That it's not all about turn this into impressive resume, right? The AI prompting is the whole science now.
Okay. Somebody who is looking for a job, and I think Starbucks just closed 400 stores, canceling 900 people. They are not the only one. We're seeing more and more, whether it's the Times or it's the AI. They always want to blame the AI or Trump. They want to blame. And then they don't. I mean, I'm like, well, certain things are happening in Asia too, African countries, Mexico, my other country, Viva la Mexico. Other things are happening that are the reason for that. But when you are seeing people like wanting to get a job, is there anything that can make them AI proof and really stand out? Are there any degrees that you're looking at that stand out? Are there any skills that maybe everybody could get? Because there are some people who don't know how they're going to pay their bill, and those people even work for the federal government now that our government is shut down. I don't think it's opened back up yet. So what can be done to maybe foolproof a job for the next 5 years? Any thoughts or ideas?
Oh my gosh, that is such a loaded. You put me on the spot here. To foolproof a job, I don't know. I feel like the times are so unstable, so unpredictable. You don't know, like as HR person, I have to start my day with the news. As much as I hate it, I have to start with the news because every now and then, more often than not, it affects how I do my job. It affects what I tell my clients, what I recommend them, right? So I honestly can't say that there is a 1 or 10 things that people can do to foolproof their job. I've seen executives being laid off from large organizations for various reasons. What you can do is to keep gaining the knowledge, keep learning that social media strategy, how to communicate, how to reach out to people, how to network, how to turn what may seem a silly idea into an entrepreneurial business idea, right? Learn AI, take courses. There are gazillion of courses online that are free and helpful. Well, a long time ago when I was starting my career, when I just became HR, I had a friend who made me diversify. I was working at that retail store. I was so proud. I was so happy. It was one of the largest Texas employers. And I was like, I'm going to retire here. This is a great company. And he told me, do not put your eggs in one basket. Develop other skills. Develop your Microsoft skills, because that's huge, right? Nowadays, it's either Google Workspace or Microsoft 365. Work on those. Work on your presentation skills, on your word skills, on your all of that stuff. And I was so mad at him. I stopped talking to him at some point. I'm like, why are you rallying me against my own organization that I love so much? But you know what? He was right. He was right. And I'm glad that I listened eventually. Eventually. I took negotiations course from Yale University. It's been 10 years. I still use that. those skills are so critical, right? And in any organization that you come on board or trying to, you want to make sure that you can showcase what do you bring to the table. It's not just, even if you just packaging materials or putting stickers on bottles, right? You have to showcase that you bring something else, that you are coachable, trainable, that you have opportunity, that you have drive for growth. But it's not just about walking around and saying, I want to grow, promote me, I want more money, promote me. No, it's actually showing what you can do.
Got you. I was going to say, did you marry him? Since he gave such great advice.
Man, I've been trying. I've been trying for 10 years.
Yes. Now, would you say, and I mentioned it earlier because I remember coming out of grad school and, my pops was like a big guy at a company and it was like, okay, let's try for HR. And that's where it was like, well, you don't have a degree in this, you don't have a degree in that. Do you have to have a degree to get into HR? I mean, your story shows, but you also have a certificate in HR. So do you think that can, of course it could help, but is it mandatory? Do you meet other, people who are doing your space that have gotten it in without having a degree?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, love this question. Let me tell you this. No one ever, when their kid says, I want to be HR when I grow up. Okay? My kid, she's 12. I'm trying to bring her in, we'll teach her things. She's like, nope, HR works too hard because she sees me, right? She sees me working nights and weekends. She's like, nope, HR works too hard. But yeah, so nobody really targets us, nobody. Maybe somebody does, but we don't target that. Oh, I want to go to school and get my master's or PhD in human resources. And on the other side, what's interesting is that HR is such a sensitive position that organizations are more likely to give that HR power to somebody within organization without any degree or without any HR experience and train them up than to bring an outsider with no experience but with master's degree. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so very often, and sometimes it's unfortunate, a person, who yesterday was on the manufacturing floor, today is being brought up in the office and given all of these HR tasks that they have no idea how to do. But the company trusts them because they've been a great individual contributor on the warehouse floor and, for 5 years. So that means that they are loyal to the company and we can give them that exposure because, HR has access to everybody's information, everything, right? Starting from their immigration papers, their passport information, their bank information. It's scary to bring somebody from the outside on board and give them just access to everything. So is the degree mandatory to get a job in HR? Absolutely not. I would even say it can hurt you if you don't have experience first. So that's why it's so hard to get into HR, because you kind of have to already be trusted and be on the inside and express your interest perhaps, or just show your loyalty. And then eventually, like I did, I did go into grad school for human resources management and got my graduate certificate. Does it help me in my HR knowledge? Not as much as my experience does, but does it help my resume? Absolutely.
Hello everyone, join us on an exciting journey with Explore the World Cameroon. London and Sydney go take you explore Cameroon, the heart of Africa. Experience the vibrant culture, nature and traditions from Yaoundé market to rainforest adventures. Every page na new discovery. Enjoy the Cameroonian food, music and wildlife with our explorers. This book na true celebration of Cameroon spirit. Get your copy now. Available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and through your library and bookstores here in Grams Park. Don't miss this adventure.
Yeah, but once you do it, I mean, I remember looking for a job, and now for one client alone, we manage 30 people on camera and outside. And we do the hiring, the firing. What, you're homeless right now? I mean, we do. I mean, it's almost like we're become the therapist, but there's a system for it, and it allows me to grow my business and my team. Now you have True Art HR, and you build your own teams as well, and have fancy titles like fractional this, and break down that, because people are seeing more about that, and they're like, Kellen, what do you mean a fractional HRBP? What is that, Kellen? Tell the people. Does that mean you work for many companies and you always work for yourself, so you can't be fired because you have a company? Break that down, because I love that, because I love entrepreneurship.
Right. Wow, how do you come up with these awesome questions? I absolutely love it. All right, so
Nosy.
oh, that's why you're good. Yeah, that's why you're good at what you do. The same thing. I love HR because I'm so nosy and I get to see the inside of everything. So fractional HRBP, right? HR is so ambiguous. I mean, in any organization, okay, if you're a bookkeeper, you do bookkeeper stuff, you're hired to a company to do bookkeeping. When it's HR, it's there's such a gray area around the titles. Like, you can be titled HR specialist, which technically you should be only working on one area, like onboarding or benefits or payroll, right? But you can still be given strategic tasks, right? Or managerial tasks. So but you don't have the title, but you do the job. And when organization is small, it's hard to give like HR director title to somebody in like a 20 people organization. So it's just so ambiguous. So startups and small businesses are my passion. And that's why I started doing this, because I've seen fantastic entrepreneurs trying to build a fantastic company that does some good for economy or for the environment or whatever the industry is, but they don't have the budget for HR, right? And this poor entrepreneur is trying to do all things, trying to develop his or her organization, and then trying to do all of the HR things. But it's so much time. It takes so much time to learn all things HR and to constantly follow the publication, follow the newest, because every state has different guidelines, different laws, regulations. And guess what? 50 states, one change per day, and there you go. There's like 2 months worth of changes every day. So it's so much work to stay on top of it. And I have friends who have small businesses, and I've seen some of the mistakes that they make. And then that's kind of what, the bulb flashed over my head. I'm like, if they're making these mistakes, then how many other small businesses or startups make these mistakes? And it puts them in that vulnerable position against, when any complaint comes through or audit or whatever that is. And then I lost my train of thought. Let's try to backpedal. Fractional, right. So small organizations, startups, and their employees who work as hard as those in the big companies, sometimes even harder because they're trying to wear all hats at once, they deserve good HR support. And that's why I believe the future of HR is fractional, which means that I come on board with the organization at whatever capacity they need. Sometimes they don't need what they need. They don't know what they need. And that's why sometimes they don't know what they need, right? And that's why I'm there to help them figure it out. So, for example, sometimes I have clients that say, hey, can you help us fix our performance management? Sure, let's take a look at your job descriptions. Oh, we don't have any. Okay, let's take a look at your metrics, your performance metrics. We don't have any. Let's take a look at, and we start to like backpedal, and they're like, no, we don't have anything. I'm like, okay, so imagine the process of house building, right? Your performance management is your wallpaper. You're trying to put a wallpaper on the walls that aren't there yet. So that analogy helped them understand. I'm like, listen, we got to put the foundation first. Right? And that's those job descriptions, that's the KPIs and all that. And we will move further up to the performance management. That's what fractional HR is. And I try to learn the business of the companies that I work with, because that's what makes me able to help them align with their organizational goals and reduce the risk, of course, and make that company a best place to work, no matter the size, if they have 1 employee or they have 101.
101. I'm thinking 101. There's a girl online yesterday. I remember filling out 101 applications and getting very little. So I said, I have to leave. There's people filling out 300 applications with master degrees. They don't have records. So I want people to be clear, because they'll say, what's wrong with them? Coming out of prison. A lot of people filling out applications, but also they say, and you can confirm this better than anybody, any guest we've had, are a lot of these jobs we see online fake? And why are companies putting out jobs that they don't intend to hire for out there when they got 101 times 10 people applying maybe for that one job? That's, that sounds like a dream job. It's work from home. It's hybrid. It's on LinkedIn. Of course it has to be true. Is that a true thing? Or should we say, stop the cap? Because I don't know. Y'all know say. I have no idea.
I actually wrote a blog not that long ago about ghost jobs. So what you're referring to is called ghost jobs. And there are a couple of reasons why organizations post those. One of the reasons is small organizations, it's only one entrepreneur or a couple of employees, and they're trying to fill everybody else's shoes, right? Wear multiple hats. And one day the owner is like, you know what? I'm tired. I'm tired of all this. Let's just hire a marketing director. Okay, cool. They throw it in ChatGPT, build us a job description for a marketing director, and they throw it on LinkedIn or Indeed. And then a week goes by or 2 weeks, they get a lot of applications, but they are kind of doing better. Maybe that surge calmed down, right? Surge of work. And they're like, you know what? We probably don't need a whole marketing director. Let's see what, maybe we can get a fractional one, or maybe we can get just on a project basis. And so eventually they close that job down, or they just forget about it if they don't have HR to help them, right? Or what they don't realize is that reviewing resumes and interviewing people, it by itself can be a full-time job. And then training that person to do the job, that's also extra work on the shoulders of the owner of a small business. So hiring somebody isn't always the solution. So that's one reason, right? They decide to do it, but then they realize either they don't need it or don't have time to onboard somebody. Next reason, sometimes newer organizations, newer businesses, they need that foot traffic on their website. As sad as it sounds.
SEO?
How to get that foot traffic? Post a job that sounds great and pays well and have people go apply on a website. Is it crappy to do? Yeah, it is. And then another reason is sometimes companies are just trying to get a feel of the interest they might get for when they actually need to hire somebody, right? So they just put a job out there to see how much traction it will bring. So then maybe from 6 months from now, when they have budgeting or funding, or a year from now, they see what they need to change, or do they need to can they bring the salary down, right? Because they already got 500 applicants on that. So yeah, some of these jobs, the reasoning of posting those jobs are not completely ethical.
And you go deep into that on your blog. So, guys, I want you to see the links in the description in case you're driving and say, was it TrueArtHR.com? Yes, that's what it was. But whether you're listening, because most of you are listening on Podbean or Spotify or Apple, but go over to the YouTube in case you do need a job, and then you see Miss Day. You can say, I sent my resume to you. With so many people looking for jobs, if you had to pick three, what three softwares, just three? I know all of us have more than that, and we have subscriptions that make us say, wow, really? What three things do people need to know to get a job? And I know that's, vast and in general, but if you were to give some advice to say, look, if you're going to get three subscriptions or you're going to pay for something, what would it be?
Before I answer that, I'll remember. I just want to say that the True Art HR is my direct organization, but I work very closely with FlexHR, which is flexhr.com. And I am a consultant for them as well. So they have fantastic blogs on their website too, a lot of great information. And thanks to them, we are talking to each other today.
I love that you shouted them out like DJ Khaled. You didn't forget, the team. Shout out to Melinda, as I know as your publicist who sent this. So I shouted it out earlier. I didn't know if you heard me. But yeah. But no, just what does it? Three things, only three.
Yep. I'll give you two that I use when I hire. It's LinkedIn and Indeed. That's really all you need.
That's get the job. What about if to be hireable? What three softwares would you say? I don't want to even hint because I want you to say, what would you see on a resume that says, okay, at least they know this, at least they know that.
Okay.
Yeah, it used to be, I don't want to say it. I will let you have your own fresh ideas.
So experience with certain software that would make them hireable. Okay. It is very, very different across the board because depending on what position you are going for, right? Like for bookkeeping, accounting, it's probably QuickBooks and I don't know, some other bookkeeping software. I don't know why I keep bringing up bookkeeper. I know very little about their job. For HR per se, to make you hireable, I would say ADP. Like you gotta have some kind of experience with ADP, Paychecks. Those are the big HRIS systems. And once you know basics of those, you can basically conquer any HRIS because they're all very similar. For like general, maybe office or management position, I mean, you gotta put ChatGPT and Gemini on there, because we're talking about AI today. You have to. I mean, don't do it if you don't have any experience with it, right? Or if you haven't done any work learning it. I feel like I'm not getting the answer that you're expecting. So let's talk. Give me some more.
I'm expecting only what you think, and you said you're going to give two. I say that because you didn't say Microsoft, where back in the day, if you didn't have Microsoft Word and Excel, but right now you can go to ChatGPT and say, download my Microsoft, and get in the format.
I mean, like I said at the beginning, organizations either are hosted on Google Workspace or Microsoft 365, right? So it would always help if you know both. And yes, to have it on your resume that you have experience in both is great. One of the common mistakes that I hear when people are answering questions, when I ask which Microsoft tools are you proficient in or are you familiar with, they say everyone or all of them. Well, there are like 40 of them. There is no way, right? There are some that are so intricate. So like Word, Excel, and PowerPoint, it's not all of them. They have so many. So never say all of them. Name your few favorites or the ones that you use most frequent. But yeah, you're right. The Google Workspace and Microsoft Office, those are the top two. I wouldn't call them software per se. They're more like platforms. They are so versatile.
Yeah, okay, okay. I just, I love the answer. There is never a right or wrong. And for this next one, there's never a right or wrong either, whether it's from you personally or your company or the companies you work with. I like to ask everybody, what is a community give back that you are doing or that you would like to do in the future? And also let us know as a community, is there a way for those who are listening and experiencing this can help you with that give back that you're doing, are going to do in the future?
I like that question. So as I mentioned, I work very closely with FlexHR, right? And they are located and they're like co-located in Chicago, Illinois, and Atlanta, Georgia. And working with the small businesses, especially in the area, just like I do with my True Art and being here in Texas, in North Austin, I love going out and meeting the smaller organizations. And my biggest passion is to help small organizations and startups, right? Hey, I really want the people that work there to be absolutely proud every day they go to work, to be proud to put it on their resume that they work for that small local shop or small local organization. That when somebody asks, hey, do you like your job? Do you recommend to be working there? They absolutely say, yes, I love it here. And I wish everybody could experience how great it is to work here. That's how I felt when I worked for HEB, my first, so to speak, career move in the United States. That's all it's about, helping people be proud. And come on, we spend third of our lives at work. It's the least that we can do to help people enjoy where they work. Nobody wants to work in a toxic environment. Nobody wants to work somewhere where they're not appreciated. But when people feel appreciated and it gives them wings, they want to give more. They want to do more than just their basic job responsibilities, right? Because they know that it helps their local community.
Amen. 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 Perfect answer. Um, I'm still kind of chuckling about people saying they are an expert in all 40 of the Microsoft tools. So I'm sorry, just because I found one of Power Automate until this year. I never used until I wanted to automate
Yeah.
emails, and then I found something else that was a lot cheaper and easier.
Yeah.
My gosh, another one.
Have you ever used Yammer or Sway?
I have not. No.
Those are Microsoft tools, and they could be like Sway could be great for internal newsletters, and Yammer is like internal Facebook. But we have other tools that are more popular for that, so companies tend to not utilize those. So yeah, for somebody to say that they're expert in all tools, I usually like to throw those names out there. Be like, oh, hey, tell me about your experience with Yammer.
I'm looking them up now because I need to know what those are. We're very technical over here, and do you ever go and please give your favorite conference that you get to learn, and maybe even one for people who might want to get hired? Because like I love CES in Vegas, the Consumer Electronics Show. I love going to where they keep it weird where you're at, I believe in Austin, South by Southwest. It's become very technical, and it's like, I can't tell you guys half of what's going on. It's just so much. But what are your favorite conferences to learn? So maybe someone can say, oh, I need to go where she's going to get where she's at.
HR Tech. I used to go to, I tried a lot of different conferences, right? Usually HR or tech related. And there are a lot of great ones. But my first time at HR Tech last year, it absolutely blew my mind. In the short 2 or 3 days, I can't remember how long it was, I got to see so many demos, meet so many different companies that I've never even heard of, and see their solutions. And then, how you connect with different people, and then they follow up because they scan your badge and everything. And I may not be using that right away, but hey, if one of my clients say, do you know any solutions that can help us do this and that? And I'm like, guess what? Yes, I do. I pulled that card out of my gigantic folder. Like, yes, I absolutely do. Because I've already seen the demo. I already met the people. I already have that connection. So it's easy to set it up. So as HR entrepreneur, HR professional, that's my favorite conference to go to. As employees or job seekers, like you mentioned, you pinpointed that South by Southwest. Fantastic. New products, new software, new ideas coming out, networking, meeting with new people. It can be expensive, yes, but you know what? It's worth it. That's the investment that you make into yourself, into your development. Just like that investment I made into myself at the beginning of my career when my friend made me go and take different courses that I didn't think I would ever need. It pays off right now. It's been paying off for the last 10 years. So yeah, South by Southwest, come to Austin. It is great event. And you can find anything from concerts to tech, events, networking events, music. It's great.
Yeah, if you can't find something at South by Southwest, you have the problem because it's for everybody. And don't forget to stop by if I'm sure they still have the dueling piano bar, but for the artists. Let the people know if there are any plans. I had mentioned, hinted something earlier about maybe having a book, whatever that book may be to you. It could be a novel or it could be to how to HR or scale. Any plans? I know you're on probably the 4th chapter, but when will it be finished? And so we can do a, part 2.
How do you know? That's my first question. I am working currently on a book, which is kind of going along with what we talked about today, is how to get into HR space, how to get your foot in HR door. It is about 95% finished. Just need to put it all together because it's a lot of the thoughts. I need to put it into coherent book and publish it. But hopefully, my plan is by the end of the year. But we'll see. We'll see.
Okay, are you gonna self-publish it or are you using a company?
I'm gonna try and self-publish it. It's gonna be my first book, first try. So I don't have much experience with that yet. But yes, I think for my first one, I'm gonna try and self-publish.
Okay, before I let you go, because we only ask for the hour for technical difficulties and we want to be respectful of time. For all the authors out there, or soon to be authors out there, I have a publishing company. I want everybody to have a publishing company when you publish your book, because if you go through Amazon and then you go to Ingram Spark, which it's the same type, if you can do it on Amazon, you can do it on Ingram Spark. The libraries buy from Ingram Spark the way things go, unless you do Baker and Taylor. That's a whole nother conversation and more expensive. But you publishing it under your company allows libraries to say yes when you do all the other things. So when you have a great book, you have art, you're willing to take the time to get editors. I say at least 2. Some people aren't. You are totally not going to get libraries to buy it if you self-publish it at this point, because there's still that battle. It's like TV and YouTube, or radio and TV. They're still battling. So if you publish your own, even if it's, your own sole prop under your own company, which is a famous name anyway, because it's you. It's a day spa in some places, and other things. I'm going to stop there. I'm always PC, you guys. But yeah, I would say do it under your own company. When you do all those other things, make sure you get a Kirkus review, because the libraries don't even talk to you if you don't. But you'll have fun, and then you'll be doing all the talks and the everything. So I can't wait. Let the people know where they can contact you and get ready for this great manuscript that you're about to put out. And, any last words? The floor is yours.
Well, thank you so much for all the information. Like I said, this is just writing a book is trying to get all of this knowledge out on paper and to help others like myself to hopefully find their career niche that they will absolutely love for the rest of their lives, like I do. But yeah, I haven't even gotten that far as to deciding, is it published? What's the benefit of either, right? So thank you, Kellen. I appreciate it, and I will definitely reach out once it's ready. Last words. Trying to be self-serving, or trying not to be self-serving right now. Please don't think of HR as the controller. Please just look at HR as your partner, whether you are on employee side or you're an employer side. We are there to help you make your business better by making your employees better, by helping employees to feel passionate about what they do. It is not just a necessary expense. It is a way to build your organization, your talent, and your reputation. Check us out on flexhr.com, and feel free to reach out. Oksana Day on LinkedIn. And by the way, the day spa that's showing up, unfortunately, that's not mine. I have absolutely no affiliation to them. Somebody just happened to be named Oksana, and she has a day spa, and it looks great from what I've seen, but that is not me. But Oksana Day, HR professional on LinkedIn. Please feel free to reach out. I'm happy to build new connections and help your organization to build better lives for your employees.
Great. You guys have gotten the game. I thank you for coming to the end. Now, when you stop driving or whatever you're doing, can you like this game? You can make a comment, but most importantly, what I ask you to do is share it with somebody. It will change their life. We're talking about jobs, serious matters in a serious way. Try to put some, jokes in there on the side, but people need to work always, or they will not eat. You guys, share it. Be blessed.
Are you tired of the rat race in America? Are you ready to visit the motherland to relax and rejuvenate? Are you ready to explore all that Africa has to offer? Then check out the brand new Diversified Game Academy course, Prepare for My First Trip to Africa. Are you worried about being able to afford the trip? We got you. We will show you how to travel either on a budget or as a baller. Learn how to stress the value of the USD. Did you know that 100 United States dollars is worth over 1,000 South African rand, or 10,000 Kenyan shillings, or 54,250 West African CFA? Are you worried about taking your kids? Get the game from Kellen Cash, a bona fide world traveler, having traveled to almost 20 countries, several of those in Africa. Get the game on taking your kids on their first trips. Learn how to find the best tickets, get the visas, and plan your own adventures in Africa. Don't let Eddie Murphy have all the fun. Plan your own coming to Africa trip starring you, produced by you, and featuring you. If you are ready for a life-changing experience, sign up for our course today, Diversified Game Academy. Get prepared and purchase at diversifiedgame.com.